Okay, let's get into this. We're doing a deep dive today,
Right.
focusing on maybe a surprising detail from the Sean Diddy Combs legal situation.
Mm-hmm.
We saw this article about a juror being dismissed, and we want to understand why. Specifically, the source mentioned something about discrepancies, about where the juror lived.
Yeah, that was the specific point mentioned.
So our mission here really is to unpack that. Why was that the reason? And what does it tell us, about how these trials actually work? We're zeroing in on that residency detail for you, trying to cut through some of the noise.
Exactly. The source reported this potential juror didn't make it through selection. And the reason given wasn't like bias or knowing too much. It was specifically about where they lived. Questions there.
Right, which might sound almost bureaucratic, like an admin issue.
Yeah, maybe a bit.
But the article made it seem pretty decisive for the dismissal. So why is residency so critical, for qualifying as a juror? Especially in a big case like this. You'd think the main thing would be, are they impartial?
Well, that's a really good point. Impartiality is, of course, huge, absolutely key. But the whole system of trial by jury, it's built on this idea of being judged by your peers from the community.
The local community director.
Yes, the specific place where the alleged crime happened or where the court has its legal reach, its jurisdiction.
Okay.
So jurors have to legally live within that court's geographic boundary. It's a basic requirement. If there are discrepancies, like the source mentioned, about where someone actually lives.
It's not just like a typo on a form.
No, not at all. It raises a fundamental question. Is this person legally part of the group eligible to serve for this specific court in this specific location?
Got it. So the core thing is their legal standing based purely on geography. It's not just, having a local P.O. box. It's about genuinely being part of the community that this court oversees.
Precisely. If you don't legally reside within that jurisdiction, well, you just don't meet one of the first hurdles to serve on that particular jury. It doesn't matter how fair you might be.
So checking residency isn't just paperwork.
No, it's one of the court's ways to make sure the jury pool is drawn correctly from the right community as defined by law.
Okay, so summing up what we learned from the source here. In this Diddy trial instance, someone was potentially removed from jury duty, really specifically because of questions about their address, their residency, where they lived.
Yeah, that seems to be the takeaway. And the significance for you maybe following this case, or any case really, is seeing just how vital these basic legal rules are.
Right.
The system relies on every step, including figuring out who can even be on the jury, sticking strictly to the rules. Jurisdiction, eligibility, these things matter.
So these technical checks, like verifying an address.
They're actually fundamental. They're safeguards, meant to ensure the trial is conducted by people who are legally part of the community the court serves.
So why does this little detail matter to you listening? Well, it shows that keeping a trial fair isn't only about weeding out bias, it's also heavily reliant on just verifying these basic legal qualifications, like where someone lives. It shows you the layers, right? The detail involved in just putting together a jury that's legally sound.
Definitely. And maybe something for you to think about later. Consider that phrase, a jury of your peers.
Yeah.
How does that idea being judged by folks from your own community, your court's area, how does that connect to these really strict residency rules?
Yeah.
What does it mean for justice when eligibility is so tightly linked to, well, your zip code?